as well. That's a look at your traffic. In depth now, it came as a shock to the legal eagles who had been following the case closely. On Friday, a St. Johns County judge overturned a jury's recommendation and sentenced Justin Barber to life in prison for murdering his wife. The jury had recommended the death penalty. So how often does a judge overturn such a recommendation, and what does this mean for the appeals process for Barber and his attorneys? Joining us live this morning is Rick Alexander, a former prosecutor. Rick, you've tried several death penalty cases. What were your thoughts on this one, just watching it throughout the trial?
Well, this was a close case when you're seeking a conviction in a murder case and also a death penalty case. I wasn't surprised that there was a conviction, but and I wasn't surprised that the judge overturned it, actually.
You weren't surprised at all on Friday?
There are cases that this happens, and this is one of those. It was tight on guilt, and I wasn't surprised that the judge overturned it in this case.
I believe that the death penalty recommendation from the jury was split 8-4.
Yes.
Okay. They don't have to be unanimous in the state of Florida, correct?
Not yet.
Not yet. Now, how often do judges usually overturn what juries recommend?
That's rare. That's rare. But in this case, you had an 8-4 vote, which is not unanimous by a long stretch. And you had a situation where the Supreme Court justices have recommended that we go to a unanimous vote. Just last year, the legislature took it up and discussed it this spring, but did not vote on it. Yeah,
let's break this down. Okay, the Florida Supreme Court is recommending to lawmakers in the state of Florida that they do what?
That they change the statute that enumerates the death penalty, basically to make it mandatory that a recommendation of death be all 12 jurors.
And why are they deciding to do this?
Well, that's just been a general trend across the country, that states have gone to this. We're one of the last states that still allows a majority verdict on death penalty.
Lawmakers have not made a ruling on this yet.
Right.
Could the judge be maybe trying to head off that argument later down on appeals?
His concern is that this will be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the whole death penalty statute would be thrown out as unconstitutional.
So this is something that could be tied up in the courts for many years to come.
Certainly could.
Can Barber's attorneys appeal on other factors in this? One of the things they brought up was that there was too much media exposure. Court TV covered it. I know all the local stations covered it as well.
Yes. Any motion they've made throughout the trial, anything they tried to do that was denied by the court, is something that's grounds for appeal. Now, a lot of those may not be very successful, but usually in a case of this magnitude, there are places all along in the course of the trial, a motion for venue change perhaps, or something like that. Those things that are denied, then the defense can appeal on those grounds.
And the defense has, in fact, said he will appeal, and
yes,
they will appeal on this. All right, Rick, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time
today.
Coming up next on the local station, the Pope is apologizing for comments that have caused an international uproar.